Hi, good afternoon, everybody. It's Dave coming to you from the fire pit of Southern Maryland. It's about 4 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. It's 55 or 56 degrees out. But I gotta be honest, it doesn't really feel like it because it's wet, it's damp. It's not raining, it's not aggressively misting, but it's thick out. It's really wet and damp in the air. So it doesn't feel like 55, so I get the coat on today. So while the fire comes up, I'll come over here and show you what are we smoking today. We are smoking an LFD and airbender. An LFD airbender. I don't know the brand really. I have very little experience with the LFDs, but I think it's a little more budget friendly than what I normally smoke. So it's nice to go down that road now and then. Anyway, while we wait for the fire to come up, we'll light this up and we'll get going. So the giveaway video I put up earlier, I'd always heard you guys talk about people coming out of the woodwork for the giveaway videos. I mean, I think I have 75 people saying I'm in already, and it's only been, 4 hours. Kind of crazy how many people, they've never commented on video, and they obviously aren't presenters. They just, I guess they just show up for the giveaways. I've heard many of you talked about that. And I think it's just something we're going to have to deal with because you can't coordinate 6, 7 guys across 12 days of giveaways without actually talking about it, I guess. So anyway, I just found it interesting when I just before I started up, started the fire and everything, I had 75 people. So I'd probably be a couple hundred by the end of the night, and who knows what, maybe after tomorrow it slows down. It would be a lot of work if it keeps going. I have 1,000 people. That could be a pain in the butt. Well, the fire's coming up nicely. It's kicking off a little heat. I guess I should act like I know what I'm talking about. Talk about the cigar for a minute. So again, it's an LFD airbender. I would call it mild plus. It's just slightly more than mild. It's a gentle cigar. Got a hint of spice. I hear a lot of people saying it now that it's hot air to you. If you're used to a medium or a bold stick, this is probably gonna be boring, but it's nice. It's mild. It's gentle. It's got a hint of spice. I like it. And that's all I'm gonna be able to tell you about for the LFD airbender. So there we go. I'll end the tobacco portion of tonight's video. So it's pretty exciting. We got Sean. Sean flies in tomorrow evening, and we got him, I guess, for a little over 2 weeks. He's gonna fly back home. He thinks to Denver on the 2nd. So basically, we get him for 2 weeks. So we'll be a family all together under one roof for 2 weeks. Kind of exciting. We have something I don't see very often. My kids, my daughter Lauren and my son Sean, are best friends. With or without Amory and I around. It's pretty exciting. They talk to each other and text each other quite a bit. While Sean's in Denver and Lauren's in Sarasota, they still talk a fair amount. And Lauren's as excited as we are to have Sean in the house. It's pretty nice feeling to see that. My wife's family's put together a surprise for her mom. This Sunday we're getting all her kids together and all their grandkids together. I don't think we've ever put them all in one place. It's gonna be like 20 people. That should be pretty fun. So Amory's got 3 brothers and sisters, and they all have kids, so we're all gonna get together for essentially a late lunch on Sunday afternoon. That should be pretty exciting. So I had another really good day today. I had another really good day in the market. So that means Monday and Wednesday were both really good days. Yesterday was a mediocre day. I didn't meet my target, but Monday and today were good enough that the 3 days together make up. I hit my target for all 3 days. My goal is to make $1,000 a day in the market and then be done. And we're up $3,000 for the week, which is good. And I got a lot done, so I spent the last 2 days in the books. My company's books and my farm, mainly my farm, is and then my investing takes a lot of paperwork and a lot of tracking. And my I gotta say, my farm books are up to date from January 1st up through today. They are 100% accurate and 100% complete. All the credit cards are in, all the bank statements are in, everything's reconciled. It's ready to go to the tax attorney. We got 12, 13 days left, so I'll keep it current. But it's just nice to be sitting here, 2 weeks before the end of the year with absolutely everything up to date. So I got to do a little bit of work on the investment side of the house tomorrow. Probably spend the next couple of days doing that. Continue to roll money layer into the crypto world, little by little, brick by brick, my citizens, as they say. My daughter and my wife both had things they wanted from the grocery store, so I went grocery shopping for them today. My Germans have settled into the routine quite nicely. Sasha and Ranger, they get along so well, and they love going over that paddock for the middle of the day. It works out so well. So it's just a good day all the way around. And then to get out here, well, it's kind of perfect. It's not too cold. It's not too warm. Not a lot of wind. Just perfect to come out here and do this with you guys. So I've debated in my heart whether to talk about this. I made a commitment, 2 days ago, to talk about. I made a statement. I said I'd talk about it later, and I forgot about it yesterday. And I feel like I made a commitment to you, so I need to do it. I want to talk about my statement that I said I think organized religion is pretty much the main reason for the downfall of, church attendance or church growing, or the lack of belief in faith in the younger generations. I think even including mine at 60. That's what I talk about. I basically have 3 examples for why I believe that. And I'm not saying every church and every faith is like this, but I do believe, church attendance is on a precipitous decline. There are some places where population is moving to. I know the southern states and Florida in particular still has good church attendance, even church growth. But most of the country is experiencing, church failure. And a lot of people have left standard organized religion and now go to almost like strip mall churches, or to the non-denominational churches, or to the mega churches. And I just want to talk about kind of the 3 examples of why I say I think organized religion is its own worst enemy and is pretty much becoming the doom of younger generations even wanting to go anymore. So I'll start out this by saying I grew up in the organized church. I grew up a Methodist. I went to church every Sunday from my earliest memories up through the graduation of college, and even a little bit beyond that. I went to a Lutheran university. I'm married. I was engaged to a Lutheran girl for a while, a very Lutheran family. I was in the youth group. I went to Sunday school. I was president of our middle school church group. I was president of our high school church group. I was very involved in it. And we'd go on biking trips together, camping trips together. I mean, it was a huge part of my life. So I just want to start out with that, and then say I haven't been a regular attendee of any sort of organized religion in 23 years. So, I'll follow this up with my 3 examples. They're not comprehensive, but they're just 3 of the ones that kind of come to mind as I think through this. So I think the first example, the one that kind of, broke me originally, and probably the harshest for me, is the way the Catholic Church handled the sex abuse scandal, and essentially their attempt to completely cover it up and act like it didn't happen. And when it got too public, they said, well, we're going to handle it ourselves. And really, law enforcement wasn't involved. And there's a lot of people that should have gone to jail for what they did. And for the church to be, it was a systematic problem, and it was a systematic cover-up. Potter Piper, I'm not saying that every priest contributed to it. I get that. Please don't think that. But it was systematic. It was widespread, and it was a systematic cover-up that was attempted. And I think that broke a lot of belief in organized religion. The phrase, you can talk a good game, but when the shit hits the fan, you kind of stepped away from a lot of beliefs. The second example is what I experienced towards the end of my organized religious experience. So when Anne Marie and I moved back to Maryland, we went back to the Methodist faith and attended a Methodist church pretty close to the house here, 10-15 minutes away, and loved the pastor. And we became good friends. The families became good friends. We knew their kids, they knew ours. We'd go boating together, we'd go to dinner together. We became good friends, and I ended up dropping out when Sean was about a year old. We quit going. But the second experience that really solid me was, I believe most organized religious churches are all about money. Are you tithing? Are you filling the offering plate? We need to buy a new van. We need more money than the tithing. We want to expand our mission role in the world, so we need more money to do that. It's always money, money, money. Special Easter offerings, special Christmas offerings. Pretty much every Sunday, it was a good portion of the hour we spent together was the plea for more money. And then eventually, the pastor, the guy who we were good friends with, decided he wanted a bigger church, physically a bigger church. He wanted us to tear down the existing sanctuary and build this monster structure. And I was not an elder in the church, but one of my best friends was. And the bottom line is, the church was small enough, attendance-wise, it just did not have the money. We were talking about probably $400,000, and this is in this is 2000, 1998, 1999, 2000. The construction project was estimated at $400,000. For a small church, that was just too big a number. And the pastor kept pushing and pushing, and I think the church got nervous that he was going to move on if they didn't do this for him. It wasn't for God. It wasn't for Jesus. It wasn't for worship. It was to make this guy feel better. But, I'll be able to grow a bigger church attendance-wise if we had a nicer church for people to come to. And what they ended up doing was taking on a mortgage, a 30-year mortgage. And they got the construction project done, and within a year or two, the project completing, the pastor left and took another position with a larger church further, quite a ways away. We never went once he left. And it just kind of broke me that it was all about the money. It was all about face. And I see that when I watch the mega churches, when I read their books, when I watch their television shows, when I watch their YouTube, it's so much about money. And then the other part of modern religion that I don't understand, when I go to these non-denominational churches or the mega churches, it's almost like they're competing for, not for teaching about a relationship with God or Christ. It's who's got the best multimedia presentation. And lots of times I felt like I was more like at a music concert than I was at church. And I think more and more the modern church is about people having fun at church, and they're trying to keep a draw based on popularity and based on it being fun to go to church. And I just disagree with that. I think it's about teaching and learning. The other thing is I see the modern church basically forgetting about the Old Testament. They talk about the Christmas story, but I mean, that's really in the Gospels. That's New Testament. And the teachings of the old God, it's not all about love and happiness. There is some jealousy. There are expectations of you to be a Christian, and I don't think we talk about that much anymore. So that's kind of my second. That whole ball of wax there was kind of my second one. And then the third one that really turned me off was how the churches just allowed the government to say you can't meet anymore. During the pandemic, a lot of churches shut down for a year or even more, and just said, well, we're more worried about our 503c tax exempt status, which is the only thing the government had to hold over them. And so they did it. They acquiesced. So rather than, doing what Christ teaches or God teaches, they did what the government told them to do. And they're just another pawn in the game, the political game now. So those are the three things that really have continually turned me against organized religion since, God, for the last 22, 23 years now. And I just see it as a consistent pattern and getting worse. And I just think churches are a big part of the reason people don't go anymore. There's lots of other reasons, by the way, and I know I'm stepping on some toe tappers and landmines here, but just, I made the statement. I made it on purpose. I made a commitment to telling you why I thought that. So there it is. So I can feel the return fire getting typed in as I say this. Okay, well, enough about religion. So if there's anybody left watching, we'll move on to some CEO school stuff. I think I've got 3 things that we can talk about today from a CEO perspective. The first, so my CEO coach, Keith Cunningham, taught me that what gets measured gets managed. So there's your bumper sticker. What gets measured gets managed. And so, for me, one of the biggest focuses for me now is financial performance. But, I know a lot of people say, oh, I know where I am. And I don't know if that's true, you guys. To meet your goal, you've got to put $100 a paycheck away, and did you do that? If you got paid 26 times this year, did you put 26 $100 deposits into your long-term savings? I'm making these numbers up. Most people get paid bi-weekly, so every other Friday, 26 pay periods. That also means 2 months out of the year you get an extra check. What did you do with it? Did it go into long-term investments and savings, or did it get spent? And is that your plan for this year coming up, 2025? If not, what is the plan? Write it down and review it every paycheck, once a month, every paycheck, once a quarter, and then annually to see if you're on plan. You need your investments to return X% a year for you to stay on plan. What is it returning? Lots of other things to manage. I mean, if you're the manager of a team, you have team goals. Are you meeting them? Are you on track? If you have individuals that work for you, do you have an individual plan for each of them, and are they on track with specific goals? Is it written down, and do you use it to manage them? Anyway, what's important to you in life? This is written down, and are you on a path to attain it? And how do you know you're on that path? And I would just put forward to you that just, yeah, I know the plan and I know I'm on it. It's probably not good enough. Because that probably ends up probably to not be a truthful statement, by the way. So the second thing that I was taught, I was taught it again by my CEO coach. How do you spend your day? We have 168 hours in a week. That's just 24 hours times 7. How do you spend those 168 hours? Clearly 6, 7, 8 of them are in bed, asleep maybe. So that's easy to mark out. Maybe you have an hour-long commute each way, so you mark those hours out. Probably work 8, 9 hours a day, so you got to mark those out. But I'll tell you, most people piss away 3 or 4 hours a day. I know you find that hard to believe. But most people piss away 6 to 10 o'clock, or 7 to 10, or 7 to 11. How they spend that time. Lots of times it's YouTube videos, or watching TV, or my sports stuff, or it may not be considered wasted time, but it's time spent on things that are not important and not urgent. And one thing that helped me was I created a 168-hour log, and I recorded how I actually spent my time for a long time, for several years. Now, I haven't met a single individual who's come to me, and we've done the map, but we haven't found, we're literally 3 hours or more a day. And sometimes more than that. Lots of times Saturdays and Sundays, you're kind of wasting 18 hours lots of time. Not every Saturday, not every Sunday, not every holiday, not every day off, but a lot of them, we wasted away. Now, if you're happy with life, none of this is for you. It's if you're living in a gap. One of the ways you close the gap is find out where you're wasting your time and how can you better apply it to get you on track to your goals. One of the things we talked about in the early videos was get on plan and stay on plan. Well, that implies you have a plan, and that implies you know how you're walking toward your plan on a weekly, monthly basis, and that you know how you're spending your time and you're spending it wisely. All right, the third and last CEO item today came to me, or was taught to me by my life coach, Steve Siskel, and that is the language we choose to use. It's part of what I call, what sort of marinade do you choose to lay in all day? And part of that is the words we use, the language we choose to use. And 2 words that I was taught to try to move away from are not and don't. Well, I don't want to be a part of that, or I'm not going to do this, or I'm not going to become part of that, or I don't want to see this happen, or I don't want to spend my time doing that or this. And I find that most people, it's almost like a speech impediment. Almost everybody speaks of don'ts and nots. And what Steve taught me was turn it around. What do you want to be a part of? What are you going to be a part of? What are you going to do? Stop talking about what you don't want, what you're not going to do, and talk about what you are going to do and what you do want to be a part of and what you do want to accomplish. I've used my house cleaner, Marva, a few times. She used to say, I don't want to be paying on my house for the rest of my life. I don't want to. And what we eventually got her to say was, I want to be debt free in 10 years. I want to pay off my house in 10 years. That's a much different place to lay. That's a different marinade for your life, to lay in the juice of, I want to pay off my house in 10 years, then I don't want to pay on my house for the rest of my life. Or I don't want to work the rest of my life. Well, okay, that can be turned around to I want to retire in 10 years, 8 years, in March if you're Dave. And it's just a different way to speak. I want to be retirement. I want to be financially free enough to retire by, December of 2030. It's much different than I don't want to work this shitty job the rest of my life. Or I don't want to do this Saturday. I don't want to spend my time all weekend doing this, whatever it is. As opposed to saying, hey, I really want to spend Saturday accomplishing this, and I really want to spend Sunday doing this. That's just a much different way of speaking, and it takes a lot of effort to break us of the knots and don'ts. I still do it. I mean, I hear the difference is I hear it. I hear the word not or don't come out of my mouth, and I really think about, is there a better way for me to say it? Can I say it from the mirror image of the don't and not? Can I say it on a pod? Can I make a positive statement versus all these negative statements? And it does eventually, over the course of months and years, change us as people based on how we talk, the words we use. I'm going to leave it at that. So those are my tidbits, my CEO tidbits for the night. What gets managed, what gets measured gets managed. Create a 160-hour log for yourself. How are you spending your time? And try to avoid don'ts and nots and speak more positively about what you do want. It's funny, as I sit here and talk to you guys, talk to the phone, I can see the YouTube notifications come up on the screen even from over here. And I'll bet you 30 or 40 more people have signed up for the giveaway since I've been talking to you. I think this is gonna be a big one to manage. All right, guys, let's call it a night. The fires are only light. You know how I like that. We've gone black dark out here. It's pitch dark out there. My cigar is coming to the end. My drink is coming to the end. So, guys, may God bless you. May He bless your life and those around you. May God turn His ear to your prayer. May God make His face shine upon you, and may He bless your life as well as He is blessed and continues to bless mine. Hope you had a good Wednesday. Hope we're halfway through the week. Hope you got a good Thursday, Friday in front of you. And I'll say Merry Christmas to you. I hope you're enjoying the season. God, we're 1 week away from Christmas. That's kind of crazy. And that's it. Have a good night, you guys, and we'll talk again tomorrow on Thursday. Good night, everybody.